Even though Killer's Kiss was made 2,800 miles from Hollywood with no industry interference, the business still had an impact on the finished product. Kubrick had planned a much grimmer ending, but changed his mind when United Artists offered to buy the film for $100,000. Now, there are differing stories as to whether UA demanded the change or whether Kubrick did it on his own, fearing that a tragic finale might jeopardize the sale. Now, if the ballet sequence felt a little shoehorned into the narrative, there's a reason. The dancer is Ruth Sabatka, a member of the New York City Ballet, who would marry Stanley Kubrick in January 1955. He was determined to get her into the film, somehow. And since it was a film noir, why not a flashback with a voiceover? Ruth Sabatka would serve as the art director of Kubrick's next film, The Killing, made after she and the director had moved from New York to California. I'm sure many loyal TCM viewers who'd never seen Killer's Kiss before today had feelings of déjà vu while watching it. That's because you recognize several evocative shots in the film that were repurposed by TCM for its late-night programming slot, Open All Night. In fact, that shot of Irene Kane in the dressing room has made her something of a TCM icon, which is ironic considering Irene Kane was not really an actress. Her name wasn't even Irene Kane. She was born in the 1920s as Irene Greengard in, where else, New York City. She was a model for Vogue, often photographed by Bert Stern, who, like Stanley Kubrick, had started at Look magazine as a teenager. In fact, it was Stern who suggested her to Kubrick for Killer's Kiss. Under her stage name, Kane acted a bit in TV and on stage in the late 50s. But she gained her greatest notoriety as a journalist and author, working under the name Chris Chase. She was a regular contributor to the New York Times and authored a number of celebrity bios, including ones on Rosalind Russell and Josephine Baker. And she was coaxed in front of the cameras again in 1979 by director Bob Fosse, who cast her as a cynical critic in his autobiographical musical, All That Jazz. Her co-star, Jamie Smith, was a trained actor. After serving with the OSS in World War II, he became a member of Jose Ferrar's theatrical company, where he caught the attention of Tennessee Williams. The playwright wanted Smith to replace Marlon Brando in the long-running Broadway production of A Streetcar Named Desire. But Smith turned it down, believing he'd only suffer in comparison to Brando. Smith had also worked with Orson Welles' theater company in Europe, and had a starring role in 1952's Faithful City, the first English-language film shot in Israel. I'm honestly not sure what happened to Jamie Smith, who pretty much disappeared from screens big and small in the early 1960s. Anybody who knows about his later life and career is invited to contact me through the Noir Alley Facebook page or Twitter feed. I would love to know the rest of his story. Frank Silvera, who played the gangster, had been in Kubrick's previous feature, Fear and Desire. He was the veteran in this cast, having established an acting career in New York after relocating from his hometown of Kingston, Jamaica. Silvera was, like Anthony Quinn, a man of color cast in a wide variety of ethnic roles on stage, movies, and TV. He was also a prominent figure in the civil rights movement and founded the Theater of Being in California, dedicated to training and preparing African Americans for acting careers. Following his untimely death in 1970, the Frank Silvera Writers' Workshop was founded in Harlem to encourage black playwrights. One of its founders was a then little-known actor named Morgan Freeman. Next week, I'll be presenting another independently made thriller from the mid-1950s, only this one wasn't made by a wunderkind just starting his career. It was directed by a Hollywood veteran who'd been working in the business since the 1920s and had made the classic African-American musical Stormy Weather in 1943. You don't want to miss The Night Holds Terror and learn the backstory of its creators, the husband and wife filmmaking team of Andrew and Virginia Stone, essential but overlooked contributors to American movie history. Until then, see you in the shadows.